Hyde. Jay Hyde is Deputy National Youth Organizer of the New Patriotic Party. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good evening, Sander.
How are you doing?
For having me. I'm doing fine. Greetings to your cherished listeners.
Great. Now, we understand you are a full Napo supporter. You are saying that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh must be the running mate. Last week, I had the MP for the former, the Honorable Eko Vincent Safwa here. He said to me that the whole of Ashanti region was angling for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh to become the running mate. Is that where you took your cue from, or there's something else that is informing your decision to support Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh for running mate?
Well, thank you very much, Sander. So, like you rightly said, myself and a number of the youth of the party have thrown their weight behind the candidature of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh for vice president. This position is informed based on what we have seen him do for the party and for our government, and also how his name resonates to the masses within our party's front. It is trite knowledge that breaking the eight is not going to be an easy agenda. I'm a national officer. I've been across the country. I've heard, I have listened, and I've seen. And from what I see, I believe that the cry of our party's base is that we want somebody like Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh to partner the vice president in order to bring us the victory we are seeking. I say so also because we've seen this man handle the position of the education minister during our first term. Under his leadership of the education ministry, he delivered a major policy going into the 2016 election, which is the free SHS. He didn't just deliver, especially for an initiative which was coming for the first time. Normally, we'll have all the challenges that we find with it. But we've heard him on several platforms asking the question, whose child should be left behind? And so as leadership will always have it. When you are faced with challenges, you bring out initiatives that solve the problem. And that is where we saw Double Track. Double Track sought to expand the facilities and make sure that nobody was left behind. This is a brilliant initiative. Even the leadership of the Ashanti University have also come to endorse. Beyond that also came the Get Fund Securitization, an initiative that sought to expand facilities across the country. Over 2,000 facilities sprang across the country just so we can accommodate the excess numbers. In all these instances, you are providing jobs for the ordinary person. In all these instances, you needed to expand and make sure that you are employing more teachers. This was also providing employment for a number of our youth. Then, of course, you also go to party relations. You can do an opinion poll across the country to ask our party base who's been the most supportive of their cause, and they will tell you that Honorable Dr. Opoku Prempeh stands tall. And this is somebody they can relate with. This is somebody they can identify with and say that, you know what, if we go out there and we work hard for our party, our efforts will be recognized. For us as a youth, we believe that 2024 is a must election. And whatever it takes, we are going to put in our all to make sure we win it. But we also need the right people to lead us. We have gone through the first hurdle by making sure that we have the vice president. And we believe that having Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh will not just see us passing the mark of the 1.7 million we had in the Ashanti region, but perhaps we could break the barrier of 2 million and equally consolidate against another regions. And hopefully victory will be ours.
You talk about free SHS as a success, but it's also a baggage that he carries, that it is under the free SHS that we are seeing students running the shift system, which shift system was supposed to have been ended many years ago, but which system still continues or persists. We've seen people go to school where they do not have furniture, they do not have beds to sleep on. We have seen so many other challenges where headmasters have tried to rectify that, which headmasters have been dismissed. We've also seen a free SHS where students come home on vacation for 3 months or 4 months. That is a baggage that he is going to carry. You actually think that free SHS is so successful that it's going to be A ratings for him because he's a sector minister? Are you not considering the other side where he, being the first minister for free SHS, could have fixed the problems that we are witnessing now, which were teething problems that are still there?
Well, Umar, I'm surprised you that free SHS as a baggage. As a matter of fact, I'm a former president of the National Union of Ghana Students. And in 2020, I served with Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Our mantra is that education is a right, not a privilege. And I believe that majority of Ghanaians fall within this bracket where education is a privilege for them. And for that matter, anybody who steps forward to make sure that the average Ghanaian gets to sit in the classroom, we are all for it. Everybody understands that, yes, we launched free SHS at a time when we needed, but we didn't have what the means in place. And somebody stepped out there. I mean, I kid you not, if somebody will sit back and say that this is a baggage, in actual fact, we shall go into this 2024 election again, touting on the successes of this administration, of which free SHS cannot be taken out. Then again, we talk about the number of people who have been beneficiaries of this particular initiative, of which Dr. Machopoku Prempeh has led this initiative brilliantly. Each and every year, thousands of people. I remember at the time in 2020, we were doing about 33% of Ghanaian students going through these brackets of making sure that they go through the senior high school system. All these people will get to the ballot box remembering the efforts of an individual who, despite the challenges we face as a country, stood with them and said that when the opposition was saying that free SHS was not possible, when they were saying that free SHS was, 419, we saw them on the street and everything. Somebody stood out there and held their neck high and said that, you know what, we are going to make sure that every Ghanaian gets to go into the classroom. And maybe people have not thought about it. Free SHS is not just an initiative that is making sure that people go to the classroom. But if you are seeking to build industries, you need to have a population base that has a certain standard of, education and capacity. And that is where Citi comes in. Then again, this man appears, and he's the man who championed the initiative of making sure that TVET is part of academic curricula and it's been made free. So in the next 10 years, you are going to have a population base or a youthful population that has a certain capacity in terms of handicap, that is able to man the industries we are pushing for, that is able to fit into the digitalization drive that we are all seeking to achieve. And so the name Dr. Machopoku Prempeh is not just, we calling for somebody to just come in, but somebody we know has something to show for his work. The Ghanaian people are tired of the perception they have about politicians that, they always come back and come and sweet talk us. But this is a man who has demonstrated capacity in good and decisive. I've seen a number of times we've gone into meetings where people will beat about the bush and Napo says, no, we are going to do this thing, and the job gets done. Okay. This is the kind of leadership Ghana is crying.
Let's talk about expansion in the education sector. How many classroom blocks did he supervise to be executed since he became minister for that sector for 4 years?
As at 2020, I know Get Fund had a number of projects amounting to over 1,995. In between that period, a number of them have been completed. You can go to Takwa and Swayam, Takwa Senior High School, and you knew of the, girls' dormitory that was constructed. You go to a number of, Preset Legon, all across the country. Because of free SHS, a number of buildings were put up just to make sure that we can accommodate the students, the excess numbers that were coming in. So indeed, Dr. Machopoku Prempeh's leadership has seen us make sure that we expanded the number of academic infrastructure.
Okay. Let's talk about the energy sector where he's heading now. What is a major policy that is attributable to him? Free SHS was an Akufo-Addo agenda he was put in there to implement. What new or innovative thing did he bring to the energy sector that is worth celebrating?
Well, you know that we came in at a time where we were suffering doomsaw. The second term of our administration, then again, there were issues about paying for the excess power that we've had with the independent power producers. Under this man's leadership, we've seen the number of renegotiation of power purchase agreements with some of these partners, and that is meant to free us the pressure that the excess power payments have brought onto us. In between this period, there have been a number of obsolete substations, which under the leadership of Dr. Machopoku Prempeh, we've constructed one around the Graphic Road, opposite the Graphic office over there. Of course, there was also the Kaswa substation that equally had a number of expansions. All these things are meant to make sure that the efforts or the generation capacity, the losses that we are having in there is reduced. And that is thankfully to this man. If you remember, he coined this phrase that we call Doom CC. And it is, an effort to make sure that the NDC's propaganda that was seeking to say that, hey, Doomso is coming back, it's actually not the case. But rather, this is meant to ensure that we have reliable power. And all this can be attributed to the efforts of this man.
Let's talk about his personality. You are, trying to rely on his strength in the Ashanti region. What really is his strength in the Ashanti region? Is he the biggest power block in that region? If we're talking about the most influential politician from Ashanti, would his name be at the top? And why would that be if that's the case?
That is an undeniable fact. If you look across the Ashanti region, I cannot, and in all this is my assessment of the situation. I believe that Ashanti has produced Ghana some of the most fantastic, and especially within my party. As the biggest block of my party, some of the most wonderful people have come from the Ashanti region. The likes of Honorable Joe Wise, the likes of the Deputy Finance Minister, Mr. John Kuma, Dr. John Kuma, and many others. But if you look at Napo's personality and his candidature or his standing within the region, we can look at it from different angles. We can look at the ordinary party people. We can look at the foot soldiers of the party. We can equally look at the market women. And then, of course, the role of Menshia. This is a man who is coming from the heart of the NPP, the Ashanti region. And then, of course, the traditional setting. Napo is from Apejafie. And I'm very much aware, that NPP came from the Menshia because the Balfour Zako used to be the chief linguist of the Ashanti chiefdom. Beyond that, this has also been somebody who has, over the time, provided funding and support. I can't count the number of people whose education has been financed on Napo's coffers as a support to the party's base. Education is something he doesn't take for granted. And then, of course, the Janka, if I say Janka, I'm talking about people without parents. His effort to make sure that everybody gets a certain capacity in order to be relevant in society cannot be underestimated. It goes beyond Menshia, across the length and breadth, all the way towards the Asim border, towards the central region. If you go to Hafwa North, if you go to Ofenso, if you go to Afam Plains, this is a man whose name resonates with the party. And so I say this very sure and aware of the crime that I have gone onto the grounds as a national officer. Maybe my opinion may not be so much okay with some people, but the reality is staring us in the face. And for us as a youth, I believe that that's the way to go. And this is the man who is the partner, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, can give us the desired victory we're all looking for.
Okay. You're a national officer of the party. Are you doing this on behalf of your executive? Have you got clearance to support somebody in this contest?
No. Like I said, I'm a former Looks president. I equally lead a biz. I equally lead.
Yeah, but currently you are a deputy youth organizer. So I just want to know: is this a position of the youth wing of the NPP, or this is your personal position?
The opinion of the youth wing is handled by my boss, the national youth organizer, Honorable Salah Mustafa. This is an opinion I shared based on my listening, my seeing, and what I have come to witness on the ground.
Are you allowed as national executive to take positions like this one?
Well, we belong to a democratic party. I am not aware of anything that bars me from speaking or sharing my opinion about a situation like that. Ultimate responsibility lies in the hands of the vice president to determine who he wants to vice him. But we are not barred from sharing an opinion as to who we believe will best serve him.
It's good you make that point that he is the one who decides who partners him. Are you not, by what you are doing, frustrating him and stressing him and not helping him to come up with a decision on his own, essentially pushing someone onto his ticket? Why don't you allow him to choose his own running mate?
Not at all. The vice president has the support of everybody in order to give us the best person to partner him. But that notwithstanding, we equally have to look around and share our perspectives as to who we think is doing well, who best can give us a victory. For us as a people, what we want is victory and ensuring that breaking the hate happens. And so for that matter, sharing an opinion that could as well, probably bring perspectives that others are not paid attention to. I don't think that is in the wrong direction.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Jihad.
Thank you.
He is Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NPP.